I want to know the historical Muhammad.
Of course, of course. Now, when we radiocarbon date things, listen.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you. No, these are great guys.
Do you want to continue? When we radiocarbon date, there are labs with different resources, specialties, and accuracies. Not every lab is the same. Okay, so there some labs are more reliable in terms of the accuracy of the results. Other labs, we will say no, they're not so reliable, because this is something we're talking about science.
So it's debatable. Okay.
Not debatable. Scholars are already like, what should I give you the names? I want you to go and find out from. I mean, it's in published literature, right? If you do insist, I will give you which scholar and
okay.
Why.
Also, another thing. You talk about the Samarkand manuscript.
Can I finish my point on here?
Okay.
The labs that dated a few hundred years before Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, these results are taken to be what? Not accurate. Why? These are contamination of the results. So they are discarded. We can get contamination in various ways and means in your analysis in these kind of things in the labs. So the labs that are reliable are the ones that scholars take. So the ones which are reliable, they have convergence. You can see clearly they are very similar in their dating system. So that's radiocarbon dating. So people who haven't got a clue in radiocarbon how they're dated, who's dating them, they make these kind of errors. Errors of like, oh, there's a median value. It's pinpointed exactly at point in the middle. That shows they have no understanding of statistics at all.
Now, the reason why I was interested, from what I've read, the Sana manuscript has been dated around AD 710 and 15. That's what I've read.
Yeah.
But now when I hear possibly AD 300, then it gets
Now you know.
They get a bit worried.
Now you know it's a contamination of the results.
Also, they found underneath the writings, there were other writings.
Yeah.
That makes me even more worried.
More worried about what?
About the accuracy of the writings.
No. So, have you gone to study how Quran was compiled in the Islamic tradition?
I'm not a scholar like you.
Not a scholar, as a student. As a student.
I'm interested.
No. When you say I'm interested in the biblical textual criticism, and I have no clue about how manuscripts are weighed.
I'm trying to learn.
So what
no clue. Yeah.
So, no. If I was going to talk about biblical textual criticism and I have no idea, no clue about how manuscripts are weighed, what's the weight of the Alexandrian text against the Byzantine text, and I start talking to you about this, obviously I will be misleading everyone else like I'm misleading myself. When it comes to Quranic compilation, you have to study first the Islamic narrative. What does Islam say on this issue? Right? The alternative narrative provided by critiques of Islam, whether they're Orientalists, whether they're Christians, whether they're other non-Muslims, you can weigh them and say, okay, which one is really telling you the real history? Because we are interested in the historical narrative. So when the Quran was transmitted in both writing and by memory, remember, people forget.
Of course.
When you memorize the whole Quran.
That's why it's a fallible document. Because it's memory, human beings, through human agency. By definition,
fallible?
If something is, aren't you fallible? Am I not fallible as a human?
Let me tell you why.
So how can you say it's from God?
You need to understand one thing though.
Yeah.
Now, imagine, just to demonstrate to you. I'm going to tell you to learn one statement. God is one. How many words? God is one. 3 words. If you memorize this correctly, I will give you $1 million. Every one of you. Okay? It's not, imagine I am the Emir or the King, all right? And I have this money in front of me. There you go. Suitcase load of $1 million or £1 million. If you memorize it accurately, I will give it to you. That's what you have to do. So memorize accurately. So I do that to various people among you here, say about 10 people. What are the likelihood that people will memorize this? These 3 words, God is one. They're not going to say, memorization of this nature is infallible. How? Because when the process is analyzed, it's not like Chinese whispers anymore. Because he will memorize the word accurately to the dots. God is one. And you will ask, is there a full stop at the end, right? Because he wants to get his $1 million. Every single one of you will say, he would not say God was one. He will try to remember God is one.
Sorry.
Accuracy of words, accuracy of letters, accuracy of the order of letters and words, and accuracy of the whole structure of the sentence. When the Quran was revealed and dictated by the Prophet to the people, they considered the Quran worthy, more worthy than $1 million. More worthy than $1 million. They put their utmost meticulous effort to memorize every single word and letter so that the Quran can be preserved.
How do you know?
So
Were you there?
it's happening today, live. It's live happening. It's going to happen there in a week's time, as you will demonstrate. You go to any mosque, anywhere in the world, you will hear the Quran being recited from memory, from beginning to end,
Okay,
all from memory. If there is a single error, this is important, you will see how many people are correcting it. No single error will go unnoticed. This is happening
Why
today.
are there so many errors in the Qurans? The
Excuse me.
various Qurans.
We'll come back to this point. Whether
There's the Samarkand manuscript.
Excuse me.
There's the Topkapi manuscript.
Give me a moment
There's
to
the
finish
Sana
this.
manuscript.
We will talk about that.
So many
I
errors.
love to talk about this.
Even Muslim scholars who analyze it. You know
You know what?
the Turkish scholars, those two Turkish scholars.
Can I? Do you want to talk about this?
No, I have to go. But
Yeah. But we can talk about this briefly.
I know. You know what they
And
said? It was so embarrassing. The Samarkand manuscript had so many errors. That how can a document
you
which
what.
is the Quran
I'll tell you. Give me a second.
from various centers have different meanings, different writings?
No. You're,
Different spellings.
You're whitewashing everything. I'll tell
That's
you.
what they said, not me.
No. You have misunderstood what they said.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what I know.
You don't have to go. Friend is
Yeah,
calling
but
me.
very quickly then.
Sure,
Very
sure,
quickly.
sure. Thanks for
So,
your time.
when we talk about the Quranic memorization,
Yes.
it's happening today. It happened yesterday, last year, the year before, all the way back to the Prophet. It's a living tradition which, unfortunately for yourself, as a Christian, if
No, why do you
place
say I'm a
for
Christian? I didn't call myself. Everybody's calling me a Christian.
You're
I
a
mean.
Christian. Sorry.
If it is
Unfortunately,
opportunity, you can do anything,
unfortunately for other
If it is
traditions,
not opportunity,
it doesn't
you can
exist.
do.
So we are very happy and privileged
Yeah.
to have this tradition of memorization of the Quran,
Yeah.
which preserves it. Now, coming back to your question about different manuscripts, right? Different manuscripts, mainly.
Islamic scholars saying it. It's
Look,
embarrassing.
I have facsimiles of many of them, so I know what the differences are. Have you examined them? I have.
Brother,
haven't.
one
So-
thing I tell you,
Excuse me,
if
sir.
it is
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
opportunity, you can